So if you want to be a successful agency owner in the insurance space, I'm about to walk you through exactly what I did to be able to become a multiple seven-figure earner as an agency owner. And I'm talking about 7 figures in production. I'm talking about 7 figures in deposits. Now in this video, I'm gonna break this down into 3 things that you specifically need to be able to succeed. They're not the only 3 things you need, but without these 3 things, you will not experience success. I'm gonna talk about the harsh reality of being an agency owner, the truth that nobody wants to tell you, and then ultimately at the end, hopefully you'll have what you need to succeed. Now, if you're watching this and you're in the insurance space, you're probably one of 3 people. You're an aspiring agency owner, which means you've been in the industry for a little while. Maybe you just got in and you see the vision in building a team, but you're not too sure what direction you should take. You're a struggling agency owner, which means you've already built a team. You call yourself an agency owner, but you're probably looking at switching up lines and looking for answers that nobody seems to be able to give you. Or you're a successful agency owner, which means you probably agree with the things that I just said. And this video, honestly, it really isn't for you. If you want to hang around and watch it for the sake of the support, I appreciate it, but I'm really talking to the struggling or the aspiring agency owner. So before I get into the 3 things that you need to for certain have in order to succeed, let's talk about why being an agency owner sucks. Just recently made a video about this and I was talking to my team about it. And when you are an agency owner or a business owner, you get paid less. The one mistake that you don't want to make if you're an aspiring or even a struggling agency owner is you don't want to become an agency owner for the sake of getting out of the field and to stop selling. So whether it's in the field face-to-face is just a way to say it, or whether you're on the phones. A lot of people made the mistake of recruiting simply because they want to stop selling, and you're in for a reality check. It doesn't work that easy. Being an agency owner is actually really, really hard, and you technically take a pay cut if you're a top producer in order to get to the level you want to get to. It's definitely worth it, but you need to have a clear understanding of what you're about to walk into. So let's go into the 3 things that I think you definitely need to have in order to succeed. The first one is capital. You need money. Might seem pretty straightforward, but I'm not talking about getting a loan. I'm not talking about finding an investor, even though if you have the right plan, that could technically work. I'm talking about getting your financials up through your production or through your means of earning income in order for you to be able to spend and invest in the parts of your business that you're going to need. There is nothing worse than you being an upline to somebody and you being financially stressed. Your downlines or your agents will be able to read right through that. You're not going to inspire confidence, and you're going to get those emails when somebody's saying, hey man, it's not personal, but I think I'm better off taking my business somewhere else. If that's already happening to you, the first thing you need to do is get back on the phones, up your production, find ways to make money so then you can circle back and provide the right support to your team. Without money, this is not going to work. The second thing is you need to have tools and resources that you actually own. See a big mistake where you think you can build a team and an agency off of piggybacking third-party companies. Let me tell you something about third-party companies, and I'm referring to CRM and lead vendors specifically. Third-party companies care about their business before they care about yours. They're great for the independent producer who obviously has no intention of recruiting a big team, and they're able to pay the monthlies or whatever fees and things they may have. But if you're looking to do something at scale, in volume, 1, it might not be feasible. 2, it's definitely not reliable. You are at the mercy of an outsider, and at any given day, if your technology takes a crap or if your leads take a crap, you can lose your business in the snap of a finger. So make sure that you build a CRM that's yours, that you own. I recommend go high level. You need to find a team that can build it out for you. It's a pain in the butt. I regretted it for the longest until eventually we got it to where it needed to be. Still not perfect, but it's definitely something that we own and control, and we take a lot of pride in my business. And find ways to generate leads in-house. If you're depending on calls, on third-party vendors, on lead vendors that you so-and-so trust, or maybe relationships that you think are exclusive. Let me tell you something, nothing is really exclusive. Again, they're business owners just like you are. Their interest is first, as it should be. And your interest has got to be your agent's interest, not yours. And you need to find a way to develop in-house teams. How do you do that? You put people on retainers. You start running ads. You learn how to run ads. Again, going back to the money part, you need to have the money to do these things, because the hardest part about marketing, and specifically talking about lead gen here, is not how much it costs to run the ads or how much you got to spend in ad spend. It's how much you got to spend finding the right team and finding the right ads to run. That's the money that you burn that you never get back. You know, you got to pay to go to school. This is your tuition payment basically to be able to get into the lead gen space. And if you don't have the leads for your team that you generate and you control, you will at some point fail, and you are definitely at a disadvantage compared to other successful agency owners in the country. And lastly, let's talk about the last one, which is people and manpower. And I'm not talking specifically about agents. I'm talking about staff. I'm talking about potentially having an office, depending on how you run your business, even though I think an office is not a necessity. I spend a lot of money on my office. It's a huge selling point for my agency to be able to have that type of culture. But there are are ways that you could do it virtually and still have success, but you definitely need to have enough support staff to take care of the agent's questions, to help them out with onboarding, to answer commission questions, to answer product questions, to help with trainings. What the agents are looking for is stability. And if you're a one-man show, if it's just you and one admin that wears 100 different hats, you're not going to be able to provide that stability, especially if you're looking to grow at scale, because the agents are going to go somewhere where they can get their phone call picked up. So just to recap the 3 things I just talked about, so you need to have money or capital, you need to have the tools and resources that you own, and you need to have manpower and infrastructure to provide for your agents. Now, let's talk about if you are not in a position to have those things, but you want to build an agency, how do you actually get there? So what I would do is what I would call a trade-off. And it does come with a sacrifice. So before I tell you who you want to be, let me tell you who you don't want to be. You don't want to be that agent that has a team of maybe 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever the case may be. And they show up to a bigger agency or to an IMO and they're demanding really high commission. They're demanding support with onboarding. They're demanding support with leads. They're demanding support with appointment setters. They're demanding support with training. But then you want to, have a really high comp and make 40, 50 points off your downlines. That is what I call a confused agency owner. And if you are under the struggling agency owner category that I mentioned earlier, odds are this probably applies to you. You don't want to be that agency owner because you are going to continuously switch uplines looking for somebody who's going to provide something that quite honestly doesn't make sense to anybody. Somebody will lie to you and tell you they're down to do it for the time being, and eventually they will cut you off. And you're going to provide so much instability for your agents that you're going to end up losing your team. What you want to do is you want to find an agency that's already doing the things that I just mentioned, which there's a handful in the country that do a really good job. Some of them are, honestly, I would argue, depending on your age and where you live, maybe even a better fit than my agency. But these guys have spent millions of dollars setting up these tools and resources to be in that position. So if you come in and you have a team or you have the aspirations of building a team, understand your place and your move. Your move is to ask for comp. Don't get me wrong, you need spreads because you still got to get your money up, right? So you still need to negotiate a comp that's fair, but it's got to be fair both ways. And then the real sacrifice, in my opinion, that a lot of people care about that I personally think is actually a good thing is you may have to piggyback the brand of that bigger company, a more established brand, a brand that provides stability. So it's not a negative thing, but it can feel like counterproductive to what your goals are, which is to build your own brand. But you do that, you have a God-honest conversation with the agency owner up front, letting them know, hey, these are my plans, but I would love to piggyback your support and your tools until I'm able to do it on my own. Are you okay with that? Nobody's going to say no to that. They're actually going to appreciate the honesty and the conversation. And that would allow you to little by little get to the level you want to get to. Rome wasn't built in a night. Rome wasn't built in a day, but Rome was built every single day. And this is a marathon, not a sprint. But you got to sprint your whole way through the marathon. So it is kind of confusing. Guys, I hope that helped. If you have any comments, please make sure to leave them below and I will make sure to bring some more value to you guys.